Guys, it's the Screen Team. We are back with a full hour of movie reviews for you, being joined by the very lovely Stacy. And Stacy is my go-to when we get into classic movies. Classic movies is, I love them. I know Stacy loves them too. So I like to throw movies Stacy's way. I'm like, Stacy, you got to check out this classic movie. It's awesome. And then she'll come back and be like, not so much.
No, not me.
So I'm curious to hear what she has to say about Spartacus. We're talking about the 1960 film starring Kirk Douglas, Sir Laurence Olivier, also Peter. What the heck's his last name, man? I can never pronounce his last name.
Tony Curtis was in here.
Yeah, Tony
also.
Curtis was in it too. I forgot about Tony Curtis. What's his name? Gene Simmons.
Peter Ustinov.
Ustinov. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Google.
He played Prince John in Robin Hood.
Yes.
I know,
yes.
Right? I love that movie. Anyway, so epic movie. It's like your grandma and grandpa's Gladiator.
Yeah.
So with that said, Stacy, Spartacus, are you going to take it? Are you going to take it with everybody else? Or are you going to throw it back at us?
Well, if there's about 2 hours of that movie they could have cut out, and I would have been all right. It took me a long time to get through this movie.
Yeah.
Days.
Yeah.
Days. I had to watch it in segments.
It's 3.5 hours, kids.
It's long. Pack a lunch. A big lunch.
There's a lot going on, You got the beginning of the movie. You find Spartacus. He is a slave, and he's not a very cooperative slave.
No, he's a rebel.
He likes to talk back. He goes to the principal's office a lot. So they're going to, when we first see him in the movie, they want to kill him.
Yep.
But one of the slave owners was like, I don't think so, man. This guy's got potential. I want to buy him and sell him off to the highest bidder. So he goes to gladiator training camp.
Yeah, like what was up with those swinging rocks, and they was having to dodge them, and it looked like, I don't know, American Ninja Warrior or something, but they were rocks. They didn't have bags. They were rocks they had to dodge.
Yeah, so they had to do all that kind of stuff. And then Spartacus was not only having to deal with that, he was also having to deal with getting picked on, bullied on by the leader of the guy who was teaching him how to be a gladiator, the guy who sounded like he smoked a little too much.
Yeah.
Like, Spartacus.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you doing, Spartacus? But
well, he got separated from his lady for a little bit.
Yeah, man. His lady was gorgeous, beautiful, and they made fun of him because he was all like, "Oh, I'm in love with you, lady."
Yeah.
Lady, I don't know. And they're like, are you not a man, Spartacus?
Yeah.
So they took his lady away. That ticked him off even more. And then they had to do like an exhibition where they had to fight for these haughty-taughty people.
To the death.
And Spartacus is down. He's going to get killed by this other gladiator, and the other gladiator is like, I don't think so, not today. And he gets upset and throws a spear at the high up people, and the revolt kind of begins from that point on. So besides the hour long or the 4 hour long movie, I mean, what other segments of the film did you like, and what other segments of the film did you not like?
Okay, well, I could have done without all the marching. Like, they didn't have to do 5-minute segments of them crossing the desert.
It's epic, man.
Like 30 seconds would have got the point across.
It's epic.
But towards the end, after they have the big showdown, and that's when, probably the last 30 or 45 minutes, I was kind of engrossed in it at that point. But there was a lot of slow parts, a lot of stuff that it just was hard for me. And you add that to the fact that the language is a little different. I mean, obviously they didn't talk like we do now back then, but
right.
I don't know. It was hard to follow.
I'm curious. I might be picking up on that point of stuff that's hard to follow. A lot of the stuff with the gladiator stuff, to me, seemed easier to follow. But then there was, not only did you have that, but you also had this political drama going on between Laurence Olivier's character and Charles Laughton's character, where they're trying to pit each other against each other and trying to stab each other in the back. I mean, was that the stuff that you were talking about that was kind of like, am I digging this too much?
Yeah, that could have made a great sequel. Just those two trying to figure out who's going to run Rome and, they had senators and this and that, and they paid this guy to leave, and he couldn't figure out why he was spared, and
Right.
there really kind of was a lot of storylines going on in there.
And of course, this movie has one of the most famous lines of all time.
I'm Spartacus.
No, I am Spartacus. The Romans they capture Spartacus and his band of misfits, and they want to find Spartacus, and they want to show him off and treat him bad and stuff like that. So they're like, "Hey, we're Spartacus," and all his friends and comrades are like, "You're not getting Spartacus today, kids."
Yeah, and it did touch me a little bit, the last scene where she was like, well, I don't want to give it away, but the
This
last
is your
scene,
son.
yeah,
I'll give it away.
Yeah, well then she's like, just go, just go, just go. Like that was kind of sad.
Yeah. So Spartacus, I love it, man. I love the movie. Stacy, I mean, are you ever going to see this film again?
Probably not all the way through. Listen, all I'm saying, if you got 3 hours to kill and it's a snow day and you can't get out of your house and you don't have any cable, this will eat up a good portion of your day. So.
Yes. But it's also an awesome film.
Or if you just want to watch it, you can probably start about halfway through and still get a full movie and have a decent understanding of what's going on.
All right. The movie is called Spartacus. It stars Kirk Douglas, Sir Laurence Olivier, Gene Simmons, and a whole slew of other great actors and actresses, man. So if you get a chance, definitely check it out. Won a whole bunch of Oscars back in the early 1960s. So coming up after the break, we've got more reviews, including a review of the movie Monsters. It's coming up next on the Screen Team, where we want you to know before you go.